Therefore, from the very beginning of our discussion about marriage, we are told that it is a sign. Therefore, it's supposed to be. It has a purpose. And who is it directing us to? Well, Allah says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ. It is His signs. And all the signs of Allah are intended to direct us to who? To Him. So that's very important that we understand it in that context. And the reason that's important is because the discussion about romance and love and the relationship between man and woman in our current culture has nothing to do with God. It has everything to do with me. It really is all about me. It's all about ego. It's all about making me happy, making me feel good about myself, fulfilling me and filling me and completing me. And it has nothing to do with God. So that's why it's important to bring us back to the purpose. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ. This relationship that Allah made between the husband and the wife, between the spouses, is to direct us back to Him. And that puts it into context. What's the purpose of my relationship with my husband? What's the purpose of my relationship with my wife? The purpose is that it is part of my path back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is, you know, Allah in this life, let me give you an analogy. If I were to give you a giant toolbox, and inside of that toolbox, you know, it's full of hammers and nails and, you know, screwdriver, all different types of tools in that box. And I tell you that I'm giving you this toolbox for you to build a house with. Okay, so you take the toolbox. Now what happens if you open up the toolbox, you see the hammer, and you say, wow, look at that hammer. That is the most beautiful hammer I've ever seen. And now you actually fall in love with the hammer, and you become so distracted by the hammer that you forget its purpose. And you never use it to build anything. You take out the screw, you take out the screwdriver, and you completely forget the purpose of those tools. Why am I giving you this example? Because Allah in this life has given us a toolbox. Every single gift that Allah has given you is a tool also. It is a gift and it is to be enjoyed, but it is also a tool. It is a means. So for example, Allah gives you eyesight. Allah gives you hearing. Allah gives you health. Allah gives you money. Allah gives you youth. Allah gives you intellect. Allah gives you your heart and your ability to love and feel. What is the purpose of those things? It's a tool. And it's intended to be used to build a house. It's intended to be used to bring you back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the context of marriage, I think one of the biggest mistakes that we make, and I can see why we make this mistake, it's because the culture that we live in, not just in this culture, not just Western culture, but Eastern culture, and pretty much every culture, many cultures at least, they sell you this idea, which is that everything is about you. The world revolves around you, and everything is for you, so that you can fulfill you. Okay? So that's why, we have, YouTube, iPad, everything. Everything is you or I, right? It's interesting, because even like the advertisement for, one of the advertisements I saw for Starbucks, you notice how they write your name on the cup, right? That's to make you feel really happy about yourself, but that's one of the reasons. But the advertisement for it, one time I saw this picture, and it had a picture of the Starbucks cup, and written on the cup was the word you, Y-O-U, and the advertisement said, "Here's to you." to you. We're here to celebrate you. And the idea is that by appealing to the ego, you make people want to buy things. That's how you bring them in, because you're appealing to the ego. And this idea is sold everywhere. So we get into marriage with the same idea that it's about me, right? It's about making me happy, and it's about fulfilling me, and it's about completing me, and it's about making me feel higher, right? So it's feeding my ego. Well, that's a big problem, because marriage is not about that. And Allah never said that marriage is about that. In fact, marriage is one of those tools to make you a better person. And when you go into marriage with that mentality, it's very, very different than when you go into marriage with the mentality that this is an institution to fulfill me, and it's all about me. It's about me being completed, me being right. So then that's why people compete in the marriage, right? Who's going to get the last word? Who's going to get the most? It's all about, it's kind of like, I don't know, capitalism. I mean, this mentality of I want to maximize my gain and minimize how much I give. That's a big problem. That's not going to work.